A lot of changes happened to my mom's skin when she started going through menopause, and I feel like it's something that's not really talked about too often. There are things like estriol creams that you need a prescription for, and I hear they're very effective. Everything I've read about them, they look extremely effective, so I have recommended her to try one of those. I think that the brand Alloy is really good. But there are also some other little changes you can make into your skincare routine when you start experiencing some of the symptoms of menopause. So today we're gonna make the richest moisturizer using a couple of her favorite ingredients that she has really had some great results with when I've formulated products for her with them before. So, Mom, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Roberta, Alex's mom.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Are you excited?
Yes.
Let's get started.
Very.
So, Mom, Mother Dearest, when you started experiencing menopause, what were some of the changes that your skin experienced? You said you had like some really dry skin.
Right, and obviously wrinkles.
I mean, I don't see them.
Lines.
She's lying.
No, they're here.
You were saying too that your skin got a lot more sensitive. Like you had previously been able to use certain retinoids,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden, like those were just causing way too much irritation.
Yes.
It doesn't surprise me, but there's some things that we can add to our product today that other brands can add to their products to make it a little more suitable for women that are going through menopause.
Great.
But again, like I was saying, I think my biggest recommendation though is an estriol cream. From the studies I've read, first of all, it doesn't increase your blood hormone levels of anything, estrogen, progesterone, any of that. But it can help alleviate some of the symptoms that are associated with menopause, like dry, flaky skin, enlarged appearance of pores, slack skin, a little bit of dullness and fatigue and stuff like that. So I think that's a great thing to do. The prescription Alloy has a great one. In addition to a prescription cream, there's some little tiny adjustments you can make to the rest of your routine to make it more nourishing, more hydrating, and just kind of bring your baseline sensitivity down slightly. So we're gonna get there. Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you weigh everything out. She's gonna make it all on the scale for us. I didn't wanna waste. Some of these raw materials that we're using are really expensive, and I'm using them in future Educated Mess launches. So I didn't wanna waste a lot by doing 2 batches, so we're just gonna have her make this one for herself. We're gonna start with water like we do with most products. I'm gonna have you weigh it out. That was good, perfect. She did good.
Well,
first try, beginner's luck. Okay, now, she's always been a clean freak, so we don't want mold, microbes, anything growing in this water, so we're gonna preserve it real quick. I'm gonna actually add this because it comes out pretty fast and we only need a very small amount. But we are gonna preserve this with parabens. Like we were talking about, when you start to go through menopause, one of the main things is that your skin really struggles to hold on to water. So we're gonna add a lot of humectants in here. Glycerin is my very favorite. So I'm gonna have you add about 10% glycerin. My favorite products that contain glycerin are Experiment Super Saturated. It has 30% glycerin, highly recommend for women of all ages. And as you're going through menopause, I think it could be really helpful. And Bloom Effects Royal Tulip Nectar is my favorite glycerin product to use at night. It's like a very luxury occlusive. Keep on pouring.
Okay.
You really can't overdo it with glycerin. It just might make your product a little sticky, but we can add stuff at the end to negate that if it bothers you. But glycerin is just a really great ingredient to help skin hold on to water better. And it's literally in all of my favorite products. There you go, perfect. Another humectant I really love is called acetamidothiethanol. It has been shown to provide similar hydration properties to glycerin without so much stickiness. Instead of going 30% glycerin here, I figured we would do a little bit of glycerin, a little bit of acetamidothiethanol for like a little aesthetic quality. This is actually, we use this in freeze frame, and a lot of people say that like you get that instant plump, instant hydrated, reduction of the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. I swear it comes from that combination of glycerin and acetamidothiethanol for those instant benefits. Perfect. So there's another interesting ingredient that we're gonna add right now. It's magnesium carboxymethyl beta-glucan. So this ingredient is very interesting because, well, first of all, it's been shown to be really great for people with like atopic skin conditions and like dry, flaky, itchy skin. It can help reduce your skin's innate sensitivity. So if you're going through menopause and you're finding that your skin can't tolerate products as well, an ingredient like this can be really beneficial, and Naturium uses it in their marshmallow barrier balm, which I've talked about on my channel a couple times. It's a really good ingredient. So we're gonna add a very low level of this. We're gonna go like 0.05%. I'm gonna add this so that we don't overdo it.
Thank you.
Because not that there would be anything wrong with overdoing it, but it would take a really long time to go in the formula and we don't wanna be here all day. Very small amount. Perfect.
Wow, yeah.
We got it. So then a couple other classic humectants that I really love. This one is having a moment right now. This is ectoin. So ectoin's interesting because it's produced by certain extremophiles that come from the ocean, but they come from a very highly saline environment. So they produce this compound that helps them hold on to water better. So when applied to skincare, it's pretty cool. It's been in so many recent products that have launched. I know Prequel has a product with like 5%. That was one of the ones that you brought me. So it's good.
Did you say?
That's good, that's
Okay,
fine.
okay.
She went a little heavy-handed on it, but that's okay. The good news is we're in the lab, so we can edit as we go.
I can't even remember what was I supposed to add.
9. You went 15, that's okay. So now we've got, speaking of, actually, well, I was just talking about the prequel ectoin cream, which has 5% ectoin, and she got inspired and wanted to add 5% ectoin because that's exactly what you just did. So one more humectant we're gonna add to this water phase is called hydrogen aquaporin. Aquaporins are essentially the channels that water transports throughout skin, and glycerol glycoside has been shown to help boost that. So you're getting the improved hydration from all of these other humectants in the formula. We're reducing the sensitivity with the magnesium carboxymethyl beta glucan, and then we're gonna add the glycerol glycoside to help with the water transport. Sounds good?
Very good.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Oh, it's so thick, it's like molasses.
Okay. So we have now completed our water phase. So now what we're gonna do is start mixing this and heating it up so that some of those ingredients in there can dissolve and get solubilized. Then we also have to prepare our oil phase, and that is gonna require heat as well. So we're gonna prepare that, we're gonna heat them both up, and once both phases are at 70 degrees Celsius, we add them together, the emulsion forms, and we get it going.
Awesome.
Sounds good?
Yes.
Let's do it. You wanna go ahead and turn the hot plate on?
Sure.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Just hit that button, push it in. There we go. Perfect. Now we're gonna prepare the oil phase. This is gonna have all of our emollients and oil-soluble ingredients that give it, first of all, a rich texture, but also provide some barrier nourishment. But as we know, water and oil don't mix, so we have to add some emulsifiers and waxes in there as well. I've chosen a couple that are gonna create a stable moisturizer, but also gonna help deliver added hydration to the product. So one of the easiest to work with emulsifiers that I use is a blend of cetearyl alcohol and cetereth 20. This gives kind of like that creamy texture. It's like a waxy flake, you see?
Okay.
We have done all of this without our glasses on, which is totally fine because none of these ingredients are bad for the eyes. But we're gonna put our goggles on in just a second as we start working on heating up the ingredients.
You and I are so different in that you said 9. I'm like,
no, I know, but I'm like,
and
I
you
know
and
where
Dad
we
are
can
like
go.
so gray.
Well, when I'm doing stuff for like a customer or for myself and I'm like actually writing down the formula and keeping up with it, I'm not very, but like we're playing in the lab. We got some ingredients we can use to adjust at the end if it doesn't turn out perfect, so it's fine. So now that we're gonna start heating up these ingredients, it's important that we have our goggles on. Honestly, sometimes in the lab, I'm not very good with my PPE, but y'all do as I say, not as I do. Always wear your lab equipment. So now we're gonna add another emulsifier. This is also gonna help hold the water and oil together, but this one has a really interesting texture that it provides. The trade name is Emulsium mellifera. It has like jojoba esters and a polyglycerol 3 beeswax. What's cool about this is that they have shown that it can help improve hydration. I mean, and a lot of emulsifiers and waxes are gonna do that anyway. They did some really cool studies on like redness and hydration with it.
oh, nice.
And I just like the really like juicy texture it gives. I don't know how to explain it.
Looks like rice.
I know, and you can even see like the pellets themselves compared to those that are like kind of mattified and waxed. See, these are like a little glossier. Oh, look at that, good job.
Okay.
See, look, you were a little short on the last one. Up on this one, see?
Yeah,
You can edit as we go.
Got it.
When you're looking at emollients that are gonna provide nourishment, first of all, we do want some in here that are gonna help it spread better, but first I wanted to add some very nourishing ones that are gonna help with your barrier. Because like we said, when women go through menopause, they tend to struggle with their skin's barrier, lacking nourishment, lacking ability to keep water in. So lanoline is an incredible emollient. I love it, but it's sticky and it smells like crap. It comes from sheep wool. So I actually have some right here that I was gonna let you smell. Look at it, it's just like, I hate working with it, smell it.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're not gonna use lanolin. We're gonna use an alternative that one supplier has provided. And a lot of products, I feel like I'm seeing this more and more often. The inky name on it is phytosterol, isosterol, cetylsterol, bihenyl dimer dilinoleate. Okay, what was that?
Say that
Repeat
3
it.
times
Repeat
fast.
it. Yeah. The trade name on this is Plantul H. It doesn't have a color, doesn't have an odor,
Oh,
but it
nice.
provides very similar barrier nourishment.
Nice.
So we're gonna add some of this. So this ingredient's gonna help a lot with kind of forming an occlusive seal on skin to help prevent water loss, but also provide some nourishing fatty acids to skin. but it is kind of sticky. So we're only using 2%. We're not gonna go up too high because then it could just really start to feel like a mask that you're wearing. Regardless, it's a very nourishing ingredient. So when we talk about skin's barrier and the lipid barrier, a lot of times we hear about ceramides, but another vital component of the skin's lipid barrier are fatty acids. So I have this other really cool ingredient. It contains linoleic acid and linolenic acid, which are the omega fatty acids in skin, but also it contains these phytosterols from acai. You love an acai bowl, I know.
God, I'm
yeah.
obsessed.
So I thought this would be fun. This ingredient is actually in a couple different products I love, like Experiment Buffer Jelly, which I think you've used before in the little green bottle. And Paula's Choice has their omega-rich moisturizer with this ingredient in it. So we're gonna add some of that. Again, this is kind of similar in texture to that lanolin alternative we just added.
A little bit of network difficulty.
It's all good. Okay, there we go. So if we were to make this moisturizer with just these ingredients in the oil phase, it would be kind of waxy, sticky, or like draggy on skin, and we do not want that. So we're gonna add some emollients. Squaline is one of my very favorites. It is a skin-similar emollient. It's very lightweight, but our skin recognizes it, drinks it right on up, and I love squalane. This is derived from sugarcane. So here I'm gonna have you add a little bit of squalane to it. It comes out fairly quickly because it's pretty thin, so just be mindful. Well, not that quick. Perfect.
Well,
there we go.
that's perfect. Till
There we go.
kept pouring.
All good. A very common emollient in skincare is caprylic triglyceride. It's not that expensive to buy. It's kind of basically like fractionated coconut oil. It can provide decent barrier nourishment as well, and also kind of gives a nice texture, improves the spreadability. So we're gonna add some of this to it. Perfect.
Perfect, give or take.
Hey, they can't see the scale. So one of the problems you started to face with menopause was that you said your skin was getting a lot more sensitive, having trouble tolerating certain actives and stuff. So one of my favorite ingredients for sensitive skin and maybe the appearance of redness is called Care O. I'm gonna add this at 2%. It should help a little bit with some of the redness and irritation and sensitivity. Now there's another ingredient that I find really interesting in skincare. So the trade name is hydrocynyl DOI, but it is isosurba decapriate. So though it's an oil-soluble ingredient, it can help with water transport throughout skin. So it's a really good ingredient for dry and dehydrated skin. So we're gonna add roughly 2% of this. This is also in the Bloom Effects Tulip Nectar that you love.
Oh, good.
So that product has like 30% glycerin. Then they also have this hydrocynyl DOI in it. And that's part of the reason that you just wake up with that juicy, plump, incredible skin. And I know that was one of the products you loved when you started going through menopause to help with some of the symptoms. So I figured we would kind of mimic it a little bit in a slightly different product form. Okay, so now what we gotta do is melt this down so that the waxes all melt. As soon as this phase and the water phase are both at 70 degrees Celsius, combine them. Typically, I would just have them share a mixer together, but we have two open hot plates, so we're just gonna add this over here. So I'm gonna have you turn that hot plate on to like 6 as well. So now we're gonna measure out our active ingredients. These are heat sensitive, so we're gonna add them once the oil and water phase have been combined and cooled down. I figured we'd go ahead and weigh these out now.
Okay.
So the first active ingredient we're gonna add, I've already weighed out because it's kind of a secret. I don't wanna ruin it. But 2 of the next 3 Educated Mess launches contain this ingredient. I have a personal love for it. It is one of the most soothing ingredients I've ever used. And Mom, you used a product that I made with this before. What was your experience with it?
It cured my rosacea.
Okay, you can't say that.
Oh.
But no.
She's a miracle worker.
I was healed. This ingredient was pitched to me from the supplier for its ability to help speed up the recovery from wounds and stuff like that, but also to help improve the appearance of redness. And so I have very sensitive skin, and I had made something with this product, and she was like, Alex, this has healed my redness so much better than any other product. Okay, actually there was a product on the market that had this in it, and anyone with sensitive skin, I would tell them to go buy it, and they just discontinued it. Again, I'm not gonna tell you which one it was, but I've been really struggling to find another product with it. So we're gonna make one today. So we've already measured that out. I didn't want y'all to see the supplier or anything that it came from, because I don't want anyone to figure this out. But it's really not that special, but it's cool, I don't know. And
build the suspense.
that's right, we're gonna build the suspense up. So another thing that we talked about though with menopause and your skin becoming more sensitive and unable to tolerate certain ingredients, retinoids are usually like the first thing to go from someone's routine, because tretinoin is obviously very drying and irritating, but a lot of retinol and retinol products can still be a little too much. So actually, I have an ingredient right here from one of our suppliers, LipoTrue, but the trade name is Reniseed, and so I don't even want to try and pronounce the inky. It's like Nicotiana benthamonia blah 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 peptide. But what's interesting about it is that they have been able to show retinoid-like activity in a much more gentle form. And obviously, y'all, this is not going to be anything like retinol or retinol at all. But what is interesting is that they had actually specifically had this ingredient tested on women going through menopause, and they found that it was able to help with hydration and also collagen and a more firm, elastic appearance without contributing to irritation. So I think it's really cool. I've only seen a couple of raw materials that they specifically say we've tested this on women going through menopause. And I would like to see more of that in the industry. I mean, I think that's kind of important. So for people that can't tolerate retinoids as they start to enter menopause, one thing I recommend is finding a product with this ingredient. I know Cocoa Kind Resurrection Polypeptide Cream has it, and Maya Chia has an age reset moisturizer that I always recommend for people that are of the mature skin community because of this ingredient and because of everything else in there. Both of those are very nourishing, hydrating, good for the barrier. But anyway, we're gonna add 2% of this to it. So I have one more ingredient complex that is like my absolute favorite for signs of aging, for a more lifted, sculpted look without contributing to irritation. And I know that was something you had mentioned to me earlier. It's actually in freeze frame. It's our diamond stabilized peptide. It contains palmitoyl pentapeptide 4 bound to diamond and resveratrol. First of all, the diamond has a particular surface charge that helps with the penetration of the peptide, but it also acts as a shield. So it extends the lifespan of the peptide in skin. Then resveratrol can help with senescence, and it can help contribute to more like a lifted look. It's a great antioxidant, one of my favorites, but it's kind of difficult to work with. So I love that it's already in this complex. It's a very expensive ingredient. Street value of this sucker is like $5,000. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But it's a very expensive ingredient. But we are going to add, typically, I think they recommend like 0.3 to 0.5%, but we didn't pay for this sample. It came from our supplier. So if you want to go ahead and go 1-2%, you can. We're making this bitch rich. Gorgeous. Perfect.
It's the closest one so far.
You've done so well. All right, so what we're gonna do is let this sit here for a second, and then once our batch is done and it's cooled off, we're gonna add these to the main batch. Then we're gonna make our adjustments with a thickener if we need to. I'm not sure if we will. And then we're gonna be good to go. Are you excited?
Yes,
Sweet.
very. All right, so just pour in.
Beautiful.
Of course, you know I want to get every drop.
Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna turn the heat off, cover it, and let it mix. Just move it like that so that it.
Geez. That's
Well, it's being held up by this.
Okay.
But that way it just kind of gets off of the heat source. It's not quite as hot. It'll cool off quicker. Okay, now we're good. As you can see, it's cooled off quite a bit, but it's still pretty thin, you know? So we're gonna add a thickener to it.
okay.
And we're also, because it's cooled off, we're now gonna add the heat sensitive actives as well. So actually, let's do that first. These are the soothing, hydrating ingredients.
You just pour it in?
Yeah, dump it. Good job. So
I
we're gonna,
only spilled a little bit.
okay, no worries. It's the messy lab.
Yeah,
You're good.
good.
I'm just gonna give it a quick little stir so that it goes in a little quicker. For the thickener, typically I would measure this out and weigh it and it'd be very precise. But we're gonna go with our heart on this one because we're gonna see how much we need to add to this to make it the texture we want. Okay. So here we have this thickener. So this comes from a supplier, Sepic, and I believe it's Sepi Plus 600. So what this is a liquid thickener. So when we add it, it's gonna gel up the entire product. But the inky on this is sodium acrylate, sodium acryl dimethyl taurate copolymer. It also has isohexadecane and polysorbate 80 for any chemists that are watching.
I thought that's what it was.
You thought so? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you add just like a little bit at a time. Just go, I'll tell you when. Yeah, that's good. We're gonna give it a second to mix and then see what we wanna do with the texture.
Okay.
You see it starting to thicken?
Oh, yeah.
It's actually that the polymer is like it's an inverted emulsion in the thing, and then when you add it to water, it flips over, and that's why it gels up really quick.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of cool. Aside from how easy this thickener is, as you saw, you just like dump it right in. You don't have to neutralize it, anything like that. It gives this really rich, like silicone-like texture, and it's just really good. So I'm excited to see how this feels.
Me too.
All right, you ready to feel it? Let's
sure
see what we're
am.
doing. Okay, most of it, it's mostly cooled off, but for the record, like this will continue to set up overnight, but I didn't want to keep us here till the morning, but some of these waxes are going to continue to set up, but right now we've got this really nice, you see it? Okay, so let me put some on your hand and we'll feel the texture a little bit.
Oh, it feels nice.
Feels good? You made that. You did that.
I'm a professional.
I had to get it from somewhere, okay? I had to get my skills from somewhere. Just kidding. So you see it's got that lovely, like nice, very rich, luxurious texture, but then it's got all of those nourishing ingredients and all the hydrating humectants. So a product like this would be a great addition to someone's routine who is struggling with excessively dry, sensitive skin resulting from menopause. From what I've read about estradiol creams so far, I think that that would be a really great addition to your routine. Then in addition to that, just some rich, nourishing moisturizers, very hydrating serums. I've named a couple throughout this video. How's it feel?
It feels great.
Good. Well, you already look so youthful. Oh, gosh. Just kidding. All right. Well, did you have fun?
I did.
Did you enjoy getting to know what I do on a daily basis?
Absolutely.
Well, I don't do this every day, but thank you so much for coming and joining me. And thank you for the genetics, because I would have never looked at you and thought you were going through menopause.
Thanks.
Love you.
Love you.
Mwah. I hope you guys found this informative. If you have any questions, please drop them below. Hope you were also a little bit entertained, but thank you so much for spending Mother's Day with us. From the Educated Mess team to you, happy Mother's Day. And to you.
Thanks.
Happy Mother's Day. She also started farting a lot, which was really hard for me because I was living at home at the time.
That's not true.
And she couldn't control it. It's crazy.
Not true.
You wonder why I moved all the way to Texas.
That is not true.
I'm just kidding. Aquaporins are channels that water transports throughout skin. Hold on. Aquaporins are these channels that...
Alicia's like, any day.
Let me just take this. See, I think I got it.
Oh, girl. You put too much money into that orthodontia.
That's true. I had a really great time, and it was great to see you as
too.
always. And if we bully her enough, she might move to Dallas. I'm hoping for it.